The time is 7:10. We're going to call this meeting of the Springfield City Council to order. Madam Clerk, will you please start by calling the roll?
We're in the right channel, Mama?
Councilor Walsh.
We're in the wrong channel.
I'm looking at that City Hall thing. You see that City Hall thing? No, they're still talking. Yeah, they're talking.
Councilor Walsh.
It's public speaking out. Is that what it is?
No, swipe over where you see all of us.
Councilor Walsh, can you hear us? I see you're participating remotely.
Over there.
All right. So
You are
that's
muted,
all right.
Councilor Walsh.
Yeah. So we got a minute. I mean, I wish we could hear it.
Okay,
Why
Madam
they
Clerk, why don't
mute
you go to the next councilor, please?
Councilor Allen.
Present.
it?
Present,
No,
Councilor
we-
Delgado.
Present.
Present, Councilor Click Bruce.
Present.
Present, Councilor Govan.
Present.
Present, Councilor Brown.
Present. Present. Can you hear me?
Okay, Councilor Brown, can you hear us?
I can hear you. You can't hear me?
Okay, Madam Clerk, please go to the next councilor.
Councilor Davila.
Present.
Present, Councilor Curran.
President?
Present, Councilor Santinello. Present, Councilor Edwards.
Present.
Present, Councilor Whitfield. Councilor Perez. I can't hear.
Focus, we cannot hear the councilors participating remotely.
Maybe we...
Councilor Perez, can you hear us?
Yes,
Okay. It appears that councilors can hear us when we speak, but we can't hear them when they speak. So, Councilor Curran, can you hear us?
I can, yeah.
Okay, and we can hear Councilor Curran, but very faintly. We can't hear Councilor Perez at all. Councilor Walsh, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. It's getting a little better. Councilor Brown, I think, has left the chat. Councilor Perez, can you try again, please?
present.
Okay, we can hear very, very faintly. So, Madam Clerk, will you please recognize Councilor Walsh?
Councilor Walsh.
Present.
Okay, present.
Present.
Can you please recognize Councilor Perez?
Councilor Perez.
Present.
Okay, present.
Present.
Let's move to the moment of silence and Pledge of Allegiance while IT tries to work on this issue. Will the council and our guests please please stand for a moment of silence. Please remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Madam Clerk, will you please call the first item?
Point of order.
The first item on the agenda is the July Revenue versus Expenditure Report.
Okay. Mr. Burns
Point of
and
order.
councilors, we do have an aggressive agenda tonight. We've got over 44 items, so I'm going to try and move things along a little bit more than usual so we can get to our business. Councilor, Mr. Burns.
Really?
Thank you, Mr. President. Tonight I am presenting the July Revenue Expenditure Report. This represents the first month of fiscal year 2025. The main highlight of the month is the yearly pension payment that the city made on July 1st. That payment totaled $98.3 million, of which 68.2 was a city portion and 30.1 million was a school department portion.
Thank you, Mr. Burns. Any questions from the council on the financial report? Councilor Govan.
Thank you, Mr. President. So
Pat, I was going to ask you about the vacancies that we have. We're like almost to the end of the year. And I know at the beginning of the year when we had the budget, I asked about vacancies and how much money we haven't spent because of those vacancies. I would exclude the police department and the fire department, but for all the rest of the departments, I'd like to know what that number would be. I know you don't.
For the fiscal year ended,
Correct. Well, for where we are now. With the new budget going forward, yes.
yes, I can put a report together for
I
that.
would appreciate that. Thank you, Pat.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Govan. Any other councilors on the report? Okay, Councilor Davila?
My apologies. Patrick, on that report you're going to put together, just wondering, will that include the positions that I believe we froze, so it's where when the use, or is that?
Yes, those positions are still in the budget.
Okay.
Hello?
Okay.
Hello?
Okay, good enough. Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you, Councilor Dill. Any other council on the report? Seeing
Mr.
none,
Pres-
Madam Clerk, Councilor Walsh.
Mr. President, I would just like to say Councilor Brown is trying to come on. I can hear him, but I don't think you can hear him.
I'm sorry,
I've been
Councilor
trying
Walsh.
to get up
I can't
for a
hear you.
minute.
Can you say that again?
I said,
I've been trying to get on.
Councilor Brown is trying to come on to the meeting, but I don't think you can hear him.
Yes, I did notice that, and Councilor Brown is actually just called into the council office to try and get some assistance with troubleshooting it. The problem is not exclusive to Councilor Brown, unfortunately, so we're just trying to do the best we can to navigate it right now.
Thank you.
How do we vote then, if you can't hear our votes?
Okay, Councilor Brown, we can hear you right now very faintly, and the plan...
I'm just saying, you can't hear us, and you can't go on, and we hear, and you can't hear our votes.
If we continue to have IT problems such that councilors who are participating remotely cannot be heard, we will have to end the meeting, consistent with open meeting law. We will have no choice but to do that. Right now, I'm trying to give IT enough time to troubleshoot it a little bit so that hopefully we can make some improvements. Right now, we can at least faintly hear you, Councilor Brown, and as recently as 5 minutes ago, there was no audio at all. So we're just trying to do the best we can. I'm trying to avoid having to terminate the meeting if possible.
I appreciate your work. You always do a great job. I just want to make sure that I'm able to be voted.
Thank you,
But I
Councilor Brown.
appreciate it.
If we get to the point where we cannot hear councilors remotely and they're therefore unable to vote, we'll end the meeting.
Could you hear me now?
We will have to
clearly?
end the meeting under the law. Councilor Perez.
Could you hear me now clearly?
Well, clearly would be generous, but yes, we can hear you. Thank you, Councilor Perez. Okay, seeing no other councilors, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll on acceptance of the July revenue and expenditure report?
Point of order.
Councilor Curran, you have the floor.
Point of order.
Okay, Councilor Brown, you have the floor.
May I be recognized as far as being in attendance?
Yes.
Councilor Brown?
Councilor Brown.
Present.
Present.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Okay, Madam Clerk, if you could please call the roll on the acceptance of the report.
On acceptance of the report, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Delgado.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield absent. Councilor Perez. Councilor
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes, more than sufficient. Item is approved. Item number 2, Madam Clerk.
Item number 2 is confirmation of Ellen Hurley to the Springfield Redevelopment Authority.
Good evening, Ms. Hurley. If you'd please join us at the podium. Is there a committee report on this matter? Councilor Davila?
Yes, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. Today, the City Council's General Government Subcommittee met to hear the appointment of Ellen Hurley to the Springfield Redevelopment Authority for an unexpired term until July 10th of 2029. Ms. Hurley is a lifelong resident of the city of Springfield. She had a very long and fruitful career in the Springfield Schools Department. Amongst them, she spent 34 years at the Brightwood School. She was a former principal at the Frederick Harris School, and she ended up her career at the central office here in the school department. She's been active in the city. She's very well known in the city. And without objections, Mr. President, she could say a few words. I yield my time to Ms. Ellen.
Thank you. Principal Hurley, if you could please push the button that shows the human with the voice coming out of it, that'll activate your microphone. There you go.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Not technologically aware. However, I can learn. I'm very excited about being appointed to the Springfield Redevelopment Authority. I'm a lifelong resident of Springfield, and I love Springfield. I worked in public schools for a number of years, and I just think that I'm now ready to give my expertise and my exuberance to help develop Springfield in the way we all want to go.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions from the council for Ms. Hurley? Councilor Santinello?
You're not on. Oh.
Okay. Mr. President, I've known the Hurley family for many, many years, and Ellen is a person of high integrity. She's a very hard worker, and she's respected by all, and I urge the council to make this unanimous.
Thank you, Councilor Santinello. Any other councilors? Councilor Delgado?
Thank you, Mr. President. I have not known Ms. Hurley for many years, but the years I have known her, she's been a really good person to our family. Not only has she been an educator in our schools, but she's also helped to mentor many of our up-and-coming leaders in the Springfield Public Schools. So I think this is an excellent choice, and I will also vote in favor of Ms. Hurley. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Delgado. Councilor Allen?
Thanks, Mr. President. Just reiterating what Councilor Santinello and Councilor Delgado said, I fully support this recommendation.
Thank you, Councilor Allen. Any other councilors?
Councilor Walsh?
Councilor Walsh.
Yes, I would just like to say, as we said at the meeting, we think this is a very impressive person who is going to be taking up this position, and I think it's important to recognize that she's going to be taking the place of Dot Gordy, another woman who contributed so much to the city. I'm so happy to see a woman of such integrity taking her place, and I'm very happy to support it.
Thank you, Councilor. Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Any other councilors? Okay.
Councilor Brown.
Councilor Brown.
I also want to commend Mrs. Hurley. I do know the Hurley family from a childhood, and being an educator, I was an educator myself. I definitely commend you for your work, and I'm in full support. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Any other councilors? Okay. Councilor Davila.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just to conclude, Ms. Ellen Hurley is being appointed by the mayor. And for those people at home, so they know, there's 5 members in this board. 4 are appointed by the mayor, 1 is appointed by the governor. And so these, like I said, we met today, the government committee met, and we unanimously voted to elevate this matter to the chambers. And I will be more than glad to be supporting and voting in favor of Ms. Hurley. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Chairman Davila. Okay, Madam Clerk, if you could please call the roll on confirmation of the appointment.
On confirmation of Mrs. Hurley, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Delgado.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Click-Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield absent. Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes, more than sufficient. Appointment is confirmed. Congratulations. Thank you for your service. Okay, Madam Clerk, items 3 and 4 are informational. Can you please read those referrals into the record?
Item 3 is zoning change referral for west side of Connecticut Avenue, and item 4 is a zoning change referral for the south side of Wisteria Street.
Okay, both of these matters will appear on our next hearings meeting. Item number 5, Madam Clerk.
5 is Go Net Speed on Jennings Street.
Mr. Signoli.
Good evening, councilors. Chris Signoli, DPW Director. Item 5 is a petition by Go Net Speed for Jennings Street. It is the installation of 300 feet of one 4-inch conduit that will run on Methuen, Grayson Drive, and Jennings Street, which will provide redundancy for the fiber optic network in that area.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the council? Any objections to us hearing number 6 with this item for one vote? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, will you call item number 6 as well?
Item number 6 is Go Net Speed, Wisteria Street.
Mr. Signoli.
Councilors, thank you. This petition is also by Go Net Speed for Wisteria Street, which is off of Slater Road, off of Boston Road. It is the installation of 472 feet of one 4-inch conduit to connect 2 utility poles together along Wisteria Street.
Any comments or questions from the council? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll on items 5 and 6 together, please?
On approval of items 5 and 6, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield absent. Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes, more than sufficient. Petitions are approved.
Thank you, councilors.
Item number 7, Madam Clerk.
Item 7 is for the Parks Department to speak for the trees grant, no match required in the amount of $6 million.
Good evening, Mr. Ash.
Thank you, Mr. President, City Council. This grant that Forester Sherman has been working on for several months, and it's a significant grant, and I think it'll do great things for the city. It's $6 million federal grant that comes in 3 phases. It addresses the urban canopy, it addresses forest management, and also forest safety. And Alex can speak to the specifics and answer questions that you have, but this is not an insignificant grant. I think it's going to provide improved canopy throughout the city and all the benefits that comes with that. So we're here, Mr. President, City Council, to answer any questions you might have, and Alex can speak in greater detail to that.
Yes, thank you, Councilor. Thank you, Mr. President. I'll answer any questions anyone might have. This grant is through the USDA Forest Service. It's an urban and community forestry grant. It was part of $1 billion in grants that was released by the U.S. Forest Service. Springfield received $6 million of that funding, which I think is pretty impressive and a great, it'll be a great thing for our city. The grant aims to, $1 million of this grant is going directly towards tree planting, so we'll be planting over 1,500 trees over the course of the next 5 years. This is going to include street tree planting, also private tree planting on private property, as well as a neighborhood nurseries program where we plan to utilize vacant city lots to grow trees to size and then plant them out on the streets in the neighborhood. So we'll be revitalizing some underused vacant lots around the city. We'll also be developing our urban forest master plan, which it's been many years since we've done this, so it's urgently needed. The process will heavily rely on community input, so we want to hear from the residents of Springfield what they see their future urban forest looking like. So that's going to be an exciting program as we go over the next 5 years to go out and talk to the residents, see how they feel about the trees we have now, and see how they want to see their forest look in the future. And we'll also be working on urban woodland management plans. So the focus on this kind of pilot program will be Van Horn, Blunt Park, and we just recently received approval to include Forest Park in that. So we're going to be hiring outside consultants to come in, inventory our forests. But all of the 3 of those parks have significant forested components to them. So they'll be inventorying us, letting us know what we have out there. We really don't know how many trees we have, the size of trees and the types of trees. So we'll be doing that, and then developing management plans to improve safety, improve trail networks throughout those parks, and also address wildfire concerns. We've had issues with wildfires, particularly in Blunt Park over the last few years, and so we'll be able to inventory our downwoody debris and get a better sense of the threat of wildfire in these major forested parks. And finally, over $3 million is going towards urban forest health and safety. So this will include mature tree canopy care, which includes hazard tree removals and hazard tree trimming. And we're going to implement a block side cyclical pruning program where we'll go down the street and just trim every single tree on the street and really address issues before they become a problem, as opposed to a reactionary program where we're basing our actions off resident complaints. And then finally, we'll also be working on young tree pruning, which is an important component. We're going to be planting a lot of trees over the next several years, including our other grants that we're receiving. We'll be putting in nearly 6,000 trees over the next 5 years in the city, and maintaining these small trees is going to be important. So this grant will provide some funding to water the trees that we're planting, as well as do young tree pruning, which can improve the structure and overall viability of the trees as they mature and provide their benefits.
Thank you, Mr. Sherman. Okay, Councilor Govan first.
Okay, here we go. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Congratulations, Alex, on getting the grant. This sounds like a very exciting grant. Did they mention the Lorex at all?
So the name of the grant is Springfield Speaks for the Trees. So that was my nod to Dr. Seuss.
For the trees. So I'm really excited about this, and congratulations, Tom and Alex and the Parks Department. I'm wondering, you said something about the urban forest. You know that we're working on the ordinance for the urban forest. I'm wondering if there's any way to possibly have some funding for that. I know we're talking to the Conservation Committee about it, and see if there's any funding that we might need to have that kind of committee once we pass the ordinance.
We can certainly look into that. I'd have to talk with the the grant providers and see what the possibilities there are, but we can certainly open that conversation.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to possibly do that if that's possible. Thank you, and again, congratulations. Thank you, Mr. President.
Mr. President, I served on the Park Commission.
Excuse me, Councilor Brown?
My hand is up.
I see it. We'll get to you shortly. Councilor Santinelli.
Yes, I served on the Park Commission for 12 years, and I can attest to the fact that we have one of the best forestry divisions anywhere. Mr. Casey and now Mr. Sherman. I just have one question. You mentioned private tree plantings. What type of trees will be available for a private person, and what's the process?
So we will have certified arborists available to meet with the homeowners to site trees on their property. So the goal is to increase the overall tree canopy. So we're going to prefer shade trees if we can. Certainly ornamental trees are also a possibility. But we will have certified arborists come visit you at your home, walk your property, select the trees based off of the location, what you have room for, and availability season to season of what trees are available, and find the right tree for the right place.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Santinello. Councilor Davila.
Thank you, Mr. President. Alex, congratulations on this grant. As Mr. Ash says, it's not a significant amount of money. It's a lot of money. Are these efforts going to help us increase what I believe you said in other meetings, the total shade percentage throughout the city? Because I think there's like a percentage that we're supposed to have of shade throughout the city.
Yeah, so these newly planted trees will certainly contribute to our overall tree canopy cover. And part of the management plan process will determine what exactly our current canopy is and come up with a street tree planting plan to focus that planting in areas that are in most need of expanded tree canopy.
Right, and Alex, just to refresh my memory, what is the suggested tree canopy percentage that we're supposed to have?
So the U.S. Forest Service suggests 40% canopy 40%. Cover in urban areas. We're close to that. We're at about 36% in Springfield, but that's citywide, and locally, I think some areas and some neighborhoods aren't seeing that canopy coverage. So that's why we want to, dive deep into this management plan and really, expand and plant these trees where they're most needed and where we can have the largest impact.
Right. Now, Alex, do you think this grant is going to put us meeting that number of 40% or exceed it?
So it's very hard to get to increase those percentages. The trees need to survive and grow and live for many years. So it may be after my time where we reach the 40%, but these trees are certainly going to contribute towards that. Mm-hmm. I think we may see maybe a 1% bump just from planting these small trees, but they are small and they need to grow and expand their canopies to really have that big impact. But it puts us well on the road. Right.
Now, Alex, you say that there's going to be some trees that are going to be available for neighborhoods and private planting. What will be how do you go about giving for private plantings? First come, first served basis, do some sort of a lottery based on need? What's going to look like?
First come, first served basis. We call into 311, and we will, as people call in, we'll come out and make site visits. The neat thing about this is, this grant has $1 million towards tree planting. We also have our Greening the Gateway Cities program, which is $1.8 million, and that also is focused on private property. So there's really plenty of trees to go around, and we're really excited to have people sign up for this program. And the Greening the Gateway Cities program is citywide, so anyone in any neighborhood can apply for those trees. And so there's really plenty to go around. So.
Well, Alex, this is one of those grants that I'm excited about because it's only nothing but goodness for the city. And so it's going to help to make the city cooler and not only more attractive as well. God knows that we need the trees. So congratulations on this grant. It will be a pleasure to vote in favor of it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I apologize. I just wasn't sure if you've seen it.
No, that was fine. I appreciate you flagging it. I know I was missing them earlier, so that's okay. Thanks for bringing it to my attention.
You're my favorite president. And I love you. What I want to know, as far as even when we're getting into everything, can you give me just give me an oversight of the details, please?
Of the grant program in its entirety? Sure. So there's
and I don't mean it like that because I commend the program. So I'll be precise. And Tom does a great job. You guys do a great job. Is there anything where the actual constituents can have like a fruit tree?
So that will be a question that we can pose to the Forest Service. Certainly that's a request that we often get. People would like fruit trees. We do ornamental trees. We do some native edibles already that are on our normal planting list. But we can certainly approach that to see if fruit trees would be a possibility. I know I know that the state in their Greening the Gateway Cities program do not allow fruit trees as part of that program, but there is a possibility, and I will look into it to see if we can do it with these federal funds.
And why I ask is because in my area, a lot of times people say that we have a desert there. But if a person has the ability to grow, if we can grow maybe even fruit trees, do we have the ability to maybe like grow fruit trees and transport them to people? You know, the different fruit trees that are available. I mean, the program is fantastic. I'm glad that, you know, we're doing it. I'm just curious as far as in the fine print, are we able to maybe get some fruit trees? Because I know people would want fruit trees.
That's an excellent suggestion, and I will certainly follow up with that. I know we currently have 3 urban orchards already in the city. There's one in Indian Orchard at Kennedy Middle School. There's one at Johnny Appleseed Park that's open to the public. And this spring, we just planted a brand-new orchard at Marshall Roy Park in East Springfield, and that one is available and open to the public. And we encourage, if there's ripe fruit and it looks good, we encourage people to pick it. That's what it's there for. So that's, you know, a great suggestion, and I will certainly follow up.
And I appreciate it because a lot of times what happens is I have a lot of complaints with people when it comes to like the walnuts dropping down on their trees and things. If we can maybe get, will they, like a consumer, a person, a constituent, will they be able to like get a fruit tree?
So we certainly will be planting the right tree in the right place, and, you know, taking those, taking the particular property and the location into account as to what trees that we select. But I'll certainly look into the fruit tree. I haven't posed that question to the Forest Service, but I will next time. I will contact them and see if that's a possibility. I'll get back to the council on that.
And one thing I can tell you, you do a great job. I know that Tom does a great job. I just think we don't look to try to look to do that kind of thing. I would look to do that more, even as far as shade trees. If we can now figure out shade trees that maybe provide fruit and maybe stop some of this food desert stuff. But I always commend the green stuff. Tom is, I love him. I love you guys. You guys doing a great job. But let's go into trying to figure out if we can get people who can get maybe some fruit trees. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Councilor Allen.
Thanks, Mr. President. Alex, was this part of a big grant that many other cities received kind of thing, or was this something we applied for ourselves, or both?
We applied directly. We were a direct recipient, so we were one of the largest in New England, a direct recipient of these funds. Many states received funding. Many large, like Arbor Day Foundation, other large nonprofits that do greening work received awards, but we were one of the largest direct awards to an individual city.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Allen. Any other councilors? Councilor Click Bruce.
First of all, I want to commend Director Tommy Ash and also Alex for this. One of the great things that I heard in this whole presentation is one thing I'm always looking for is public safety. So you talked about the trees being trimmed that are on the streets. So I think that's great, and I would love to work with the office to see how we can come up with some solutions, as well as have a meeting to discuss those ways we can improve our street safeties. Because I got a few calls on a few streets and also sidewalks as well, where trees are actually stopping our kids from actually walking on some of the curbs. So I refer them to 311, obviously, but I think it's a bigger conversation we can do. So again, thank you for all you do, and looking to support this. Thank you.
Thank you,
Councilor
Councilor
Bruce. We receive calls almost daily on for intersections and so forth that need to be trimmed. And in fact, today we trimmed the intersection at Parker and Parker and Wilbraham Road. And so again, we 100% in tune with making sure our streets are safe and clear.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Click-Bruce. Councilor Govan.
Just one comment about that. On my street, Berkshire Avenue has a lot of trees, and a lot of kids walk up and down that street. So I do have to commend, Alex. I reached out to him. There was a tree that was low-hanging, and I think the next day he had his guys come out and fix it, basically. So unfortunately, the tree was totally knocked down.
It does,
So
yeah.
we'll have to plant another tree there. Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, Councilor Govan. Any other councilors on the grant? Councilor Ash?
Mr. President, one final thing is just so you're aware, there is some administrative costs associated with this grant, and Alex is in the process of hiring full-time staff, but those costs will be incurred by the grant and last for the 5 years of the grant. And again, Alex is in the process of reviewing that now.
Thank you, Mr. Ash. Any other councilors? Okay, seeing none. Madam Clerk, will you please recognize the councilor in seat number 11, please?
Councilor Whitfield.
Present.
Present.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll on acceptance of the grant?
On acceptance of the grant, Councilor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Delgado.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Click-Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran.
Yeah.
Yes, Councilor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes, more than sufficient. Grant is accepted.
Thank you.
Councilor Davila?
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, if you allow it, and if my esteemed colleagues have no objection, I wonder if we could take item 30 out of order, 5-year lease for the IT department. They only have one item on the agenda, and they happen to be dead last. Maybe we can take out of order if there's no objection.
Seeing no objection, Madam Clerk, please call item number 30.
Item 30 is a 5-year lease for the IT department.
Mr. Doty?
Good evening. Thank you for that. So we try to lease our equipment so that we roll over new equipment every 5 years. This keeps us current and secure. So in this particular case, we're also embracing other departments, doing a group buy where the more we buy together, it's recognized. We save money overall because we're buying more. We bring our bargaining power because we're the larger organization. So by virtue of this, we're bringing, in this particular lease, we're bringing the police department into our fold. We're buying the equipment for them, we're negotiating for them, and because we're buying more, we save money overall. So this is a 5-year lease. It's a continuation of a lease that we already have. So we're just trying to, save a little money and renew our 5-year lease.
Madam Clerk, well, we have this on as two separate items, Mr. Doty. We have a 5-year lease for the IT department, which is number 30, and we have a 5-year lease for Motorola Police Department, which is item number 29. Are you here to speak on both?
Not for the police department, just for number 30.
Oh, okay. You said police department. That's what got me a little confused. Okay, so item number 30, 5-year lease for IT department. Any comments or questions from the council? Councilor Davila.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I believe you mentioned at the Finance Committee that we're going to be saving how much money by doing this bulk buying?
It's anticipated that it's going to be around $100,000 to $125,000.
$125,000, excellent. And what's the purpose of this lease? What are we getting out of this?
So as together as a unified front, we are purchasing all new storage equipment to displace our old storage equipment. As you know, we can't really delete data. We have to keep it for sometimes perpetuity. As a consequence of that, we also have more things throwing data at the infrastructure upstairs, like cameras and so on. So what we're doing is we're now expanding the equipment to accommodate the requirements of storing all that data for the time that we need. and we're saving money overall by bringing in elderly equipment in, let's say, the police department, and modernizing the police department as well.
So we're increasing the data space for both the police department and the city side, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you, and my compliments for saving the city money by doing this. You know, everything adds up, and so my compliments. Thank you, Andy. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Any comments or questions from the council?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilor Walsh.
Unfortunately, I don't have an opportunity on this iPad to raise my hand. You know, Andy, this is not the first time you saved the city money. You're very conscientious about doing that. And throughout your career, you've done a lot in that manner. You mentioned at the meeting that you're incorporating the police in this. What about the fire department?
Fire department infrastructure is run in our infrastructure currently, so they're already part of our environment.
Oh, that's good. Okay, glad to know it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Seeing no other councilors, Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
On approval of the lease, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen. Yes, Councilor Delgado.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes, more than sufficient. Lease is approved. Thank you very much. Okay, Madam Clerk, back to the agenda. Item number 8, please.
Item 8 is an FY25 Senior Community Service Employment Grant in-kind match for the amount of $499,661.
Good evening, Mr. Goodman.
Good afternoon. This is an annual grant that the Elder Affairs receive. It's a workforce inclusion grant. It allows seniors in Hampden, Hampshire County for employment. They can work up to 20 hours a week to make minimum wage. This is an annual grant that we've continued to get over the past few years.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions from the council on the grant? Okay, Councilor Govan.
Does this grant, I know that we have an ordinance where the seniors can work off their taxes. Is this part of that?
No, this is separate.
That's something different.
Because you don't have to own a home for this particular grant.
I see.
So it's not coming off their taxes.
I see. Okay. Because I'm just hoping that we could maybe incorporate something to help our seniors work off some of their property taxes, because as we know, it's been really,
Yeah, we are working on that.
bad.
We just hired someone for that program assistant position. We talked about that in the finance committee, so I'll be speaking with some of the councilors regarding that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilor Govan. Councilor Santinello.
Just a quick question. What is the minimum wage you're paying?
It's $15 an hour.
$15, and they can work 20 hours a week?
They can work up to 20 hours a week.
Up to 20 hours a week. So this will go a long way.
Correct.
Thank you.
It goes up to about 32 members. That's part of the program. Then they try to keep at least 2 to 3 on standby. So once someone comes off the program, they add another person on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Councilor Santinello. Councilor Brown.
First, I want to commend you. I don't think people understand the work that you do. We have to put all our resources and our money where our mouth is. Our seniors are hurting. I think you do a great job, and we should support you more and give you more money. When it comes to taxes for seniors, you're the start and you're the flame, so I commend you. And I just had to say that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Councilor Delgado.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just had a quick question. I was doing the math. I guess I wanted to ask you, how many positions do you think you'll be able to have with this?
So based on the grant, they can have up to 32 participants on the program at a time.
If they fully maxed out for the year, because that's what my math came up with, but I wasn't sure if
Correct.
everybody was going to be full 20 hours. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Delgado. Any other councilors? Okay, seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the acceptance of the grant.
On acceptance of the grant, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Sorry, yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes, more than sufficient. Grant is accepted. Item number 9, Madam Clerk.
Item 9 is an FY24 Shared Streets and Spaces Program grant in the amount of $240,144.53.
Mr. Signoli.
Good evening, councilors. Chris Signoli, DPW Director. The DPW has been receiving annually an award from the Mass DOT under the Shared Streets and Spaces Program. This year, we're receiving $240,000, and it is specifically for the crosswalk that we are constructing at the library classical condominiums on State Street. The work was put out to bid this spring. It is under construction right now. These funds that we're receiving, the project is about $350,000 for that particular item. We're receiving $240,000 that will help us offset the cost of that construction.
Thank you, Mr. Signoli. Any comments or questions from the council? Seeing Councilor Davila.
Chris, quick question. I believe you said during the subcommittee meeting that the money is mainly from Uber, correct? Uber/Lyft?
That's a different grant.
That's a different grant?
Yep.
Okay, and so refresh my memory. This specifically coming from where then?
This is coming from Mass DOT.
Oh, my apologies. I'm getting my numbers confused here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Councilor Brown. Followed by Councilor Walsh. I can see you're trying to speak, but you don't have your hand.
Thank you, Mr. President. Chris, I want to thank you for all the work that you do. I want to try to, I don't know if you got the message, but I want to do a committee meeting as far as the different crosswalks and the lineage throughout the city, because I know some people want to bike and do all that kind of things, and then I know in certain areas where churches are, Pastor Robeson, he want to know about a crosswalk. You know, while we're doing reconstruction, if we can kind of like figure out how are we going to line things out also, it'd be key, you know, if we can do that also. But I commend you on the work that you do. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Councilor Walsh.
I just want to say that I think this grant is well received. Chris, you know that many neighborhood groups and many chairs of maintenance and development have been working with you to get this done because of safety on State Street. So congratulations, very happy that this is finally being passed.
Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Seeing no other councilors, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on acceptance of the grant.
On acceptance of the grant, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado. Yes. Yes, Counselor Click Bruce. Yes. Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila. Chris has his on. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes, more than sufficient. Grant is approved. Item number 10, Madam Clerk.
Item 10 is an energy efficiency and conservation block grant, no match required, in the amount of $197,920.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. President, Council. I'm here tonight to request your support in accepting the Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant, which we have been awarded in support of the replacement of the existing boiler in the Barney Carriage House. The existing boiler is a Smith sectional boiler at end of life. We are looking to upgrade it to a high-efficiency gas wall-hung boiler. We'd also like to replace pumps and some controls to improve efficiency in this facility. The total amount of the grant, as stated, is $197,920. I'd be happy to answer any further questions you might have.
Thank you very much. Any comments or questions from the council on this grant? Okay, seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On acceptance of the grant, Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yeah.
Yes, Counselor Santinello?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes, more than sufficient. Grant is approved. Item number 11, Madam Clerk.
Item number 11 is an FY25 Springfield Library Foundation and Trust Endowment Grant. No match required in the amount of $180,000.
Ms. Fogarty. Any questions or comments from the council?
Yes.
Councilor Santinello?
Just a quick question. What materials do you plan on buying with this?
Sorry. We currently spend about $700,000. It's a requirement by the state that we spend 12% of our operating budget on materials. So this is a portion of everything that we spend, and the money can be used for books, AV systems, AV materials, online databases, e-books that people borrow. People can stream movies and music. So it all goes into the general pot.
One other question. You had a very tough summer with the heat, and we really have to address the problem in the libraries with your air conditioning, or lack of, because Kateri Walsh and I toured that facility, and we're in your corner. We'll fight and try as hard as we can to get that, because it's actually hurting our community by not being allowed to go in there when it's really hot. You've got fans going in there and windows open. We need air conditioning.
Thank you, Councilor Santinello. Any other councilors on the grant? Okay, seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on acceptance of the grant.
On acceptance of the grant, Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan?
Yes. Oh, I already said yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yeah.
Yes, Counselor Santinello?
Absolutely, yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes, more than sufficient. Item is approved. Without objection, can we do Councilor's item number 13? It's another grant that Ms. Fogarty has. Seeing no objection, Madam Clerk, call item number 13.
Item number 13 is an FY25 Springfield Library Foundation grant, salary offset for the branches in the amount of $145,000.
Thank you. This grant is from the Library Foundation again, and it's used, the majority of it is used to fund our Sunday hours at the Central Library, and the rest is for offset to personnel costs and general operations.
Thank you, Ms. Fogarty. Any comments or questions for the Library Director? Okay, seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On approval of the grant, Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes, more than sufficient. Grant is approved. Thank you, Ms. Fogarty.
Council President,
Counselor Click Bruce.
make a motion. I do believe Mr. Goodman has another one on the agenda. If we can just take his as well.
What item number is that?
I believe it's 16.
16. Well, Counselor Click Bruce, if it's okay with you, items 14 through 27, we're going to take all together. And Mr. Goodman, if your grant is less than $100,000, you can go home this evening. We don't entertain any deliberation on grants less than $100,000 this year. Good night to you. That's the answer he wanted to hear. Yeah.
Thank you, Council President. Yeah.
Thank you, Counselor Click Bruce. Okay, item number 12, Madam Clerk.
Item 12 is an FY25 TJO grant, no match required, in the amount of $165,000.
Good evening. Could you please turn your microphone on? It's the bottom. There you go. Yes.
Sorry. Good evening, everyone. So this grant is in the amount of $165,000 coming from the Foundation for TJO Animals to the shelter. The grant supports the annual base salary of the shelter veterinarian, the veterinary clinic coordinator, the veterinary technician, in addition to medical supplies, any specialty consults animals might need, and any specialty surgeries.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the council on the grant? Seeing none, Councilor Brown.
Thank you, Mr. President. I seen something in the news about certain things when it came to adoption. Are you having a hard time when it comes to adoption?
We're not necessarily having a hard time in terms of adoption. We're just getting in so many animals. We're having trouble keeping up with the flow of animals. I have 48 dogs in the shelter right now. We started the day at 46. We sent several home, several out to adoption, and ended the day with more dogs somehow. So it's a tricky time in animal welfare, and it's a really difficult time to get veterinary care.
Okay, and I do commend you for your work. Don't let Donald Trump get you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Ma'am, I neglected to ask you to introduce yourself. You haven't been before the council too many times before, and I just want to make sure
I haven't been in front of the council at all, actually. So My name is Heather Cahaly, and I'm the interim executive director at TJO. I took over in January when our director went on medical leave, but I've been with the organization for about 5 years.
Thank you very much. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, any comments or questions from the council on the grant? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On acceptance of the grant, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez. Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes, more than sufficient. Grant is approved. Thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk, items 14 through 27 are under $100,000. So under our rules this year, we're going to take them all as one vote without any discussion on it. But you do need to read all of them into the record. So let's let the clerk have a sip of water, and she can read items 14 through 27, please.
Assistance to firefighters grant match required in the amount of $97,090.90. DPW ride-sharing funding, no match, in the amount of $86,782.20. Item number 16 is an FY25 Shine Grant, no match required, in the amount of $74,333. Item number 17 is an FY25 Springfield Library Foundation Music Programming Grant, no match required, in the amount of $30,000. Item 18 is an FY25 Springfield Library Foundation Wi-Fi Hotspots Grant, no match required, in the amount of $30,000. Item 19 is an FY25 Libraries Staff Development Grant, no match required, in the amount of $15,000. Item 20 is an FY25 Springfield Library Foundation Strategic Planning Grant, no match required, in the amount of $15,000. Item 21 is a FY24 Safe and Senior Safe Grant, no match required, in the amount of $13,299.97. Item 22 is an FY25 Springfield Library Foundation Summer Reading Programs, no match required, $10,000 grant. Item 23 is Dispatch TERT Program Grant Increase, no match required, in the amount of $10,000. Item 24 is an FY25 Montage Community Health Fair Grant, no match required, in the amount of $3,000. Item 25 is a Parks Department donation in the amount of $2,381.70, no match required. And item 26 is a donation of good fire bench supplies for the fire department. Oh, and item number 27 is a Springfield City Library donation in the amount of $75.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Will you please call the roll on acceptance of the grants, items 14 through 27?
On acceptance of items 14 through 27, Councillor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councillor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councillor Delgado.
Yes.
Yes, Councillor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Councillor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councillor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councillor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Councillor Kern.
Yeah.
Yes, Councillor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Councillor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councillor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Councillor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Councillor Fenton.
Yes, more than sufficient. Items 14 through 27 are approved. Okay, item number 28, Madam Clerk.
Item 28 is a PEG Access and Cable-Related Fund FY24 Q1 franchise fee payment in the amount of $145,829.18.
Okay, anyone here to speak on this matter?
Hi, Mr. President. Lindsay Hackett, Deputy Capo.
Hi, Ms. Hackett, you have the floor.
Thank you. So we've been in front of council a couple times with the PEG access funding. It is 2% of Comcast quarterly revenue. They come in quarterly payments to the city. We have to appropriate the funding, which is then handed over to Focus Springfield, which and then it funds our PEG access, public educational and government access public television.
Thank you, Ms. Hackett. Any questions? Councillor Santinello.
Yeah, real quick. Because a lot of people are cutting the cord now with cable, have we seen a decrease in the revenues coming to the city of Springfield because of that?
That's a good question, Counselor. I actually do not have the previous quarters in front of me, but I can certainly put that together for you, because I don't know off the top of my head if we've seen a decline or not over the past year or so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councillor Santinello. Councillor Delgado.
Thank you, Mr. President. Lindsay, quick question. Don't know if you know the answer to this, but it pertains to Comcast. It's my understanding that there's supposed to be some type of discount for our seniors that is already covered under the bill. So I was just curious if you had any information on the number of customers who receive it. And maybe that's just a question for Comcast.
I do not have that information, Counselor.
Is there any way we can reach out to Comcast? I don't know who's the best person or contact from the city.
Yeah, we have a governmental contact over there. I can certainly reach out to her and see if she has any of those numbers.
All right, thank you. That's all, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councillor Delgado. Any other? Councillor Davila.
Thank you, Mr. President. Lindsay, just for clarification, this money, I know it's the 2% quarterly fee from Comcast, but where is this money going to again?
So this money actually goes to Focus Springfield.
Focus Springfield, okay. That's right. Thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Any other councilors? Okay, seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on approval of the financial order.
On approval of the order, Councilor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Delgado.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, Councilor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes, more than sufficient, order is approved. Item number 29, Madam Clerk.
Item 29 is Police Department 5-year Motorola lease.
Anyone here to speak on this matter this evening?
Good evening, Mr. President, Council. This is Bill Schwartz from the Springfield Police Crime Analysis and Real-Time Center. I'm hoping you can hear me.
Good evening, Mr. Schwartz. We hear you. Go right ahead.
Well, thank you very much. Essentially, we've been working with Chris Fraser in Finance. We would like to make our final payment for this 5-year lease. However, due to delays, the contract is now invalid. So what we're asking for is a contract amendment extending the length so we can close the project out and make the final payment.
Thank you very much, Mr. Schwartz. Any questions or comments from the council? Okay, seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
I have my hand
Oh,
up.
I'm sorry. Sorry, Councilor Brown, you were on the other screen. I didn't see you. Councilor Brown, you have the floor.
I want to thank you for the work that you do. I really commend you. I don't think people understand that the work and the service that you put in to protect people. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Any other councilors? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On approval of the lease, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Delgado.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes, more than sufficient. Order is approved. Okay. Thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk, items 31 through 41, the next 10 items are all conveyances, quitclaim deeds for small parcels for amounts mostly in the range of $500. I think one of them is for $1,500. I have to recuse myself from all 10 of these. My law firm represents Home City and Wayfinders. So for that reason, Councilor Edwards is going to come up and although you may wish him to, we have to take these one by one because they're real estate transfers. So I'm going to recuse myself from here forward. I'll be back at item 42. Thank you, sir.
Madam Clerk, can you, yes. Madam Clerk, can you call order number 31, please?
Order number 31 is an order authorizing the mayor to execute a quitclaim deed for the sale of the east side of Hancock Street to Old Hill Infill LLC for consideration of $500.
Ms. McCaffrey?
Good evening, Jerry McCafferty, Director of Housing. While these all need to be called individually, I wonder if it might be helpful if I gave context to all of them together.
Without objection. Yes.
Great. Thank you. This is conveyance of, well, it's 10 orders. It's actually 14 parcels, and they are being conveyed for the purpose of constructing 12 new homes. that will be affordable to people with households at 2 different levels, some of them 100% of area median income, some of them of 80% area median income. These are primarily in the Old Hill neighborhood, although there are 2 that are in Upper Hill. We have significant support for this from the Old Hill Neighborhood Council. Orders 31 through 37 and 41 are transfers to Old Hill Infill, Inc. That is actually Home City Development. Those are all vacant lots, and so those are new construction on those lots. The other 3 orders, 38, 39, and 40, are blighted homes. There are existing vacant blighted homes on those parcels. On those will be conveyed to Springfield City of Homes Development for demolition of the existing properties and then construction of new homes. All of these are receiving significant state investment. It's pulling in a lot of money, both from an earmark that our delegation received, as well as money from mass housing under the Neighborhood Stabilization Program. And I want to point out that both Home City Development and Wayfinders have representatives here tonight if you have any questions for either of those.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call these by the item, so if you have any questions, you could ask on the specific site or the specific order. So, Madam Clerk, could you start with number 31, please?
On approval, Mr. President?
I'm approving item number 31, and then if there's any questions. Are there any questions on item 31? Is what I guess what I'm trying to say.
My hand is red.
Councilor Davila?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just have a clarifying question, Jerry. I see that all of this, some of them are City of Homes Development, then we got Old Hill Infill LLC. But unless I heard you wrong, I do believe you say that they're both the same thing or completely different entities?
I'm sorry, there are 2 entities. Old Hill Infill LLC, or Inc., is a subsidiary or is associated with Home City Development. And Springfield City of Homes Development is associated with Wayfinders. So we have 2 entities that are actually purchasing the properties. One is purchasing all the vacant lots, the other is purchasing the homes. And they're connected with those 2 entities. It is Wayfinders that is doing the demolition and new construction, and it is Home City Development that is doing the vacant lot development.
Okay, thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilor Sandinello?
Somebody's mic on? Yep. What's the time frame on construction and getting this? We have a housing crisis in Springfield. You made a tremendous presentation on the pilot program the other day. I have to tell you that.
Thank you. They are both ready to go. So they are fully funded, and they are, I know at least one is under contract already with their developer, and they're ready to pull permits right away and get moving.
Thank you.
Councilor Brown?
Thank you, Vice Chair. Maybe the Vice Chair doesn't recognize that this was something in my subcommittee that we met with, and it's a great program. It's something that it's about redevelopment. One thing that I had a concern with, and Councilor Click Bruce was there. It's a great program, but now I want regular constituents to be able to take advantage of it also, and making sure contractors, minority contractors, can take advantage of being able to sublet some of the jobs and contracting things out of it. So it is a great project. It's something that we met with not long ago, I don't know if we had a chance to talk about our subcommittee meetings, but it was in our subcommittee, my subcommittee meeting where I chaired. So I believe in it. I believe Councilor Click Bruce, he was there. He understands what they're trying to do. My only thing is trying to be able to let the other people in the community be able to take advantage of the same opportunity. But it's a great program, great thing, and I definitely, as far as my subcommittee meeting, we definitely think it's a great thing. We just want everyone else to be able to do it. Thank you.
Councilor Whitfield?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just have a couple of questions, maybe for, well, I'm gonna start with Jerry since she's at the podium. So when I was looking at the information, it said that the RFPs were publicized in notification. Usually when we get, City Council get RFPs, and I don't recall getting the notification for these properties sent to us. Do you know if they were sent to the City Council?
I believe they were. One of the things to know about this is these have been in the works for a very long time. So the first RFP, I believe, was in 2021. So it may be that you're not recalling seeing them. These have been projects that have been very difficult to put together because it has been the accumulation of the land and the funding. Developers had there were significant issues. There were properties that developers were awarded, and then they had either environmental problems or title problems. So it's been going on for quite some time. I believe that the procurement office sends all RFPs, and if not, the Office of the Office of Housing works very hard to make sure that all RFPs for development projects go to City Council. So while I can't speak to these specifically because they were so long ago, I believe they would have been sent to City Council.
Thank you. I don't really have a problem with the program or really know much about the program, but I did look online to see where the funding was coming from, and it said that there would be a city match. How much is the city match for these projects?
The city is providing $750,000 in home funds, which is federal funds, to the Home City Development Project, which is the project that's going to develop 10 homes.
So home funds comes through your department, Jerry, because I remember.
That's correct. That's correct.
How do developers that's not affiliated with Wayfinders or Home City Development get access to these funds? Because what I would like to see is something different. I would like to see more training for minority developers that don't have access to these contracts, may not know how to apply the mass development funding, don't know how to go about getting an earmark, so they can learn how to become bigger developers and learn how to do these type of things too, or at least have a mentorship program with Home City Development or Wayfinders to learn how to get up to speed to acquire these type of properties. Because while they are paying $500 for some of these properties or $1,500, their value is worth way more. The value of these properties are like $22,000, and you know, things just have to change because the same organizations get the same properties all the time, and you have other property developers that also should get the opportunity to learn how to do these projects. That is a problem for me, and I say it every time, and this still continues to happen. Where is the training for the new developers? Like developers that actually come from the community. And I know Home City Development has done a lot of work in the Mason Square neighborhood, but I'm talking about developers that are actually born, raised, lived here, work here, family here, and things like that. Like, how do they get access to learning how to do these things?
Councilor Whitfield, I want to say I share your concerns, and we have been working very hard to make that happen. So we have We applied for and became part of Mass Housing's Neighborhood Hub program, which is focused on development in the Mason Square area, and part of the goals of that project is to support local minority contractors to get the work to do those jobs, but also learn how to develop. And so we currently, through Mass Housing, have connected 3 local developers with development consultants that Mass Housing is paying for, and the goal is exactly what you're saying. It's to mentor them and help them grow to be larger developers, able to do larger projects and to take on projects like this. So we are right there with you and wanting to make that happen and doing everything we can to make it happen.
That's good to hear, because I actually had a meeting with Wayfinders a while ago, and I brought a bunch of minority contractors to that meeting, and one of them said that they had been contacted to do one of these property developments, but I just wanted to know what the city was doing to educate. There's also, I know you said there may be like environmental issues, but Mass Development also has money to take care of the environmental issues, and I wanted to know, are you getting any of that type of funding?
So we look for brownfield funds. I'm sure we'll go back to these properties, but given the time frame to develop properties for housing, we wanted to move quickly on the housing, because it often takes longer to accumulate the funds and do the work to do environmental cleanup. So that, yes, we are also working on that, but it was not in time to be able to be part of this program.
And I know this question for you is a little bit unrelated, but I heard that you are the chair of the Housing Trust, the Springfield Housing Trust, and there hasn't been a meeting all year. I am now appointed to that committee, and I wanted to know if you had any plans to host a meeting, because I would like to talk about some of these things and before they actually happen and take place, so that the community is even aware of what's going on, because it just seems like certain organizations are coming in, getting the land, profiting off of it, and, you know, it seems a little bit unfair to other developers. Like, I know that there's other organizations that could have utilized these funds and also been in on the action of developing the properties.
Yes, so the Housing Trust Committee had been down 3 members. I didn't realize that one of the positions had been filled and that you are that person. I believe the SRA is looking at the other 2 vacancies at their October meeting, and then the goal is to have the committee meeting regularly again.
That would be great. I think it is a wonderful program. I just want to make sure that it's fair and equitable, and everyone has the same opportunities as Wayfinders and Home City Development, and at minimum, there's a mentorship program. But I would like to speak to Wayfinders and Home City Development now.
And they are here.
Councilor Whitfield, which one in particular? They're both here. Which one would you like to speak first?
Who's from who? Whoever stepped to the podium first. Doesn't matter.
Home City is at the podium. Could you identify yourself for council?
Good evening, Councilwoman. My name is Jenica Huff, Director of Real Estate Development for Home City Development. Just started back in March 1st. Happy to be here, happy to be working with the team to realize more affordable home ownership opportunities within the city, and specifically the Old Hill neighborhood.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Did you say Jenna?
Jenica.
Jenica.
Mm-hmm.
Nice to meet you. I wanted to know if you have a mentorship program to help up-and-coming developers that actually come from the community.
We do not currently have a mentorship program. I worked in Western Mass for 10 years prior to moving to New York, where I was for the past 13 years prior to moving back. And there I did a lot of work with local organizations to build opportunities for minority contractors and women business enterprises and service-disabled veteran-owned business enterprises. I reached out to the state in conjunction with our development of the 10 homeownership opportunities, and wanted to work with the state office that certifies women and minority business enterprises, having been one myself in Massachusetts when I lived here prior. So working to help fast track those contractors that are contracted with us for Old Hill to the extent that they want to be and do not have the resources to be certified currently in terms of managing the application process. So that is something that we are looking at actively and have been. Tom Kegelman, our executive director, has worked quite a bit with similar organizations, one based out of Hartford, to see how we can replicate their successes here in the Pioneer Valley.
Well, that's great. I actually have some contacts for you. I know a couple of people who've already established an accelerated WMBE certification, and I work closely with them through my daytime job. Also, the city just launched its certification, and it's a dual certification with the state.
Oh, great.
So it's clear that you all want to do the same type of program in an accelerated manner. My question is, for contractors to work on these properties, do they have to be certified?
They don't. Nope, they don't have to be certified. It's just a benefit that I think we can bring working with us to help connect them to the right state resources to get certified and then further eligible for other jobs where the state is monitoring the percentage of contracting that goes to women and minority business owned businesses.
Okay, so I'm gonna reach out to you offline because there are some organizations, and I'm also on the SDO advisory board for the state, and we are working to make sure that it's a fair and equitable process when folks are being chosen to work on these specific contracts. So I will reach out to Home City Development individually. Can I please speak to Wayfinders now?
Yeah, and I just want to add one more thing. There's a number of things that I did in New York working on similar developments there, but one resource that we might want to consider is the Community Preservation Corporation in New York has launched in the past 2 to 3 years a minority, a developer, minority contractor educational program that I worked with them quite a bit on developments that I did just immediately before moving back to Massachusetts. And so that might be a good resource to look into. Again, it's the Community Preservation Corporation. I can put us in touch with the folks that are leading that effort at CPC. So.
I wonder if that's equivalent to the Community Preservation Act that we have right here in Springfield that also helps with funding up to $250,000 to build low-income housing. I wonder if it's
no, it's not at all. It's the CPA. The CPC is a quasi-state agency that underwrites mortgages for the state of New York in partnership with their state agencies, specifically with the goal of creating more affordable home ownership and rental opportunities. And so they are looking at how to build the overall team of folks that do development. So no, not related, but good question.
All right, thank you. I look forward to continuing the conversation. And this would be, I'm sorry, other councilors, I see your hands up. Yeah. Wayfinders, can you just state who you are, please?
Sure. Pleased to be here before the City Council. My name is Bruce Ehrlich. I'm the Senior Vice President for Real Estate Development at Wayfinders. And 3 of the parcels here are associated with properties that we're going to develop.
Okay. So first, I just want to commend Wayfinders because I did meet with Wayfinders, and what I did like about Wayfinders when we met with the executive director is that they are willing to partner with MWB or minority contractors, even if they're like helping with a project and maybe the developer may get 20% or something. They at least are showing them the way, even with like tax credits and how to obtain them. Not many of these organizations are doing that. And so I just wanted to say thank you to Wayfinders for pioneering that type of initiative. And I wanted to say that I brought someone to the table and he recently told me that he was contracted by Wayfinders. And I'm just like really happy that you all are doing what you're doing. I don't know if you know anything about any mentorship program going on, but if so, could you please elaborate on it?
We don't have a mentorship program, at least not right now. But with our City of Homes initiative, we've specifically done outreach to local and minority contractors. That's a very high priority of ours, and we are like thrilled to be partnering with Sage Home Builders. Wayfinders is the developer, but the vast majority of the funds that are going into this project are for construction. And so Sage Home Builders is actually going to be, seeing the largest economic benefit from this project prior to the homeowners eventually buying the properties.
Thank you. Sage Home Builders is exactly who I'm talking about and who I brought to the table. So I'm just very happy that they were contacted and will benefit from this program. I would just encourage Jerry and team to let us know who these developers are. I want to make sure they're local. I want to make sure that it's equitable. I want to make sure everybody gets a piece of the pie. I was under the impression that there was going to be 4 organizations that would have access to this development project, and now I see 2. So I thought it was Habitat for Humanity and Hope CDC. I don't know what happened there. Jerry, if you know.
Yes, there are additional parcels that, that have been awarded to, and those 2 entities have preferred developer status on. They are not ready to purchase yet because they're still putting their projects together.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome. Councilor Kern.
Thank you, Mr. President. My question for Jerry is that these homes that we are building here, the proposal, are they're going to be rented, or are these? Can you explain that part of it? Are they going to be put up for sale, or can we be able to buy these? How's that going to work?
They are for home ownership. They'll be deed restricted to home ownership. They will be, some of them, I believe most of them will be sold to households with incomes at or below 100% of the area median income. Some will be restricted to 80% area median income. Those restrictions, as I said, are deeds that live with the property. It is monitored to make sure that the buyers remain in the homes or sell to another homeowner. The specific goal is creating homeownership, not rental housing.
Oh, that answers my question. So all 10 parcels are going to be deeded to first-time home buyers, basically, how it's going to work.
They are for first-time home buyers. There will be a lottery for the first-time home buyers. I think we're still, we need to work with Mass Housing, who is the major funder here. But certainly in the most recent project we worked with Mass Housing on, which was the Gemini Townhomes, we had a preference for Springfield residents because we and the developers really want this to be people, to be serving folks in the community that are in desperate need of housing right now and can't break into the home ownership market.
Hey, could you explain to the council who's putting up the funding? Or is it the state's putting up the funding, or is Home City putting up the funding, or is Wayfinders putting up the funding?
So there's multiple funding sources. There is a state earmark that our delegation was able to secure for $500,000. There are 2 neighborhood stabilization program grants, $2 million to home city development, and I think it's $1.6 million to Wayfinders, although they are doing these 3 projects and they have other projects they'll be doing in the future that money also goes to. And then the Mass Mutual Foundation has also made a large contribution to this project. The final piece is the City of Springfield home fund, federal home funds, and that's $750,000.
And how much is the city giving Wayfinders and Home City for these? What is our portion of the funding?
So we're providing $750,000 to Home City Development for the 10 homes they're doing. We do not have funds in the Wayfinders project at this point. We're not providing any funding to Wayfinders.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilor Delgado.
Thank you, Mr. President. Jerry, just a quick question. I just want to understand for the new homes that are being rebuilt, and I apologize if you guys had already mentioned it, what is the cost for these new homes that are being constructed? Like, is there an average cost per home?
I would prefer to rely on our partners here. 600 each. Yours? Little under 500,000 for the homes that are being built from scratch, and 600 where there needs to be demolition followed by new construction.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions from the colleagues? Okay.
My hand is up.
Councilor Brown.
Thank you. Jerry, I thank you for your work. It was brought before my committee. You did a very great job as far as your presentation. I would like you to forward the same information as far as like the contractors to my other colleagues, so they'll have the ability to to just even local contractors make sure that they have the ability to bid on some of these jobs. But it's a great idea. I commend you for your due diligence, and I know it's a hard thing, but we really want to make sure that the whole community, when it comes to local and minority contractors, get a piece of the pie. So if you can just kind of like forward some of that stuff to some of my colleagues, I'd appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilor Govan.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Jerry, following up on the question that Councilor Delgado asked, so the homes are 500, the ones that are going to be built, there's 600,000 to build all of them, or just one?
That is per home.
So how much are the homes going to sell for?
Do we have prices yet?
I mean, it's going to be a range depending on the 80 to 100 split.
Could you come up to the microphone?
She's saying it will be, and you're welcome to come up, it will be a range, I would say, based on what is happening at Gemini, which is trying to target to those same areas. It's between 190,000 and 210 per home.
Okay.
So there's significant funding that is going in that is remaining in the project as investment in our community, because the cost of building these homes is so much higher than what they'll be sold for.
Right, okay. And I also want to commend you, I want to thank Councilor Whitfield for bringing it out that I guess Wayfinders actually is using one of our local contractors. That's really exciting because we've been fighting for that for years, and we want to continue that work. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
Any other questions, Council? Madam Clerk, would you like to call item number 31, please?
So on approval of item 31, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton recused. On approval of item number 32, which is the sale of Southside Union Street, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton recused.
The vote is sufficient. The order is approved. Madam Clerk, item number 34, please.
Item number 33. Item number 33 is an order authorizing a quick claim for the sale of Southside Union Street. Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton recused. Counselor Edwards.
Yes. The vote is sufficient. Order approved.
Item 34 is for the sale of Southside Union Street. Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan. Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton recused.
The vote is sufficient. Order is approved.
Item 35 is for the sale of 524 Union Street. Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan. Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez. Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton recused. Counselor Edwards.
Yes. The vote is sufficient. The order is approved.
Item 36 is for the sale of the East Side Wilbraham Ave. Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado. Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan. Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton recused. Counselor Edwards.
Yes. The vote is sufficient. The order is approved.
Item 37 is for the sale of the North Side Melrose Street. Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado. Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton, recused. Counselor Edwards.
Yes. The vote is sufficient and the order is approved.
Item 38 is for the sale of 18 Highland Street. Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado. Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton, recused. Counselor Edwards.
Yes. The vote is sufficient, the order is approved.
Item 39 is for the sale of 26-28 Terrence Street. Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado. Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan. Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton, recused. Counselor Edwards.
Yes. The vote is sufficient and the order is approved.
Item number 40 is for the sale of Southside Lebanon Street. Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado. Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton, recused. Counselor Edwards.
Yes. Madam Clerk, could you call the final item? Or
Final.
final order of the night?
The final order is for the sale of Southside Melrose Street. Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado. Yes, Counselor Click Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton, recused. Counselor Edwards.
Yes. The vote is sufficient and the order is approved. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I now turn the mic back to our president.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Good job, Counselor Edwards. Madam Clerk, item number 42, please.
Item number 42 is an amendment to Chapter 327 regarding solid waste.
Mr. Signoli.
Good evening, councilors. Chris Signoli, DPW Director. Over the last 2 or 3 years, there have been some significant changes with the DEP laws, rules, and regulations on how we operate our solid waste division within DPW. So what we have elected to do is update our regulations to include a lot of those requirements that DEP is now making us do. Most recently, we are now required to recycle mattresses. In the city of Springfield, for years, for at least for 15 years, the average amount of mattresses we collected in the city was about 2,500. Since the law has gone into effect, we are collecting over 7,500 mattresses in the city, and it is my opinion that a majority of those are coming from out of town. For the simple reason is we're charging $8. Every other community around us is charging significantly more. Long Meadow, $20 for a twin mattress, $30 for a larger mattress. Ludlow is $65, and you have to bring it to the landfill. Wilbraham is the same way. So what we have done in our regulations is that our first request is that we are going to go to 2 stickers for the collection of mattresses in the city of Springfield. So the collection of a mattress will be $16 instead of $8. Within the regulations, there are no other modifications for cost for the resident. That is the only one. We are providing to the council 2 documents. Number 1 is Chapter 327, which is the solid waste ordinance in the city, and the accompanying document is the rules and regulations associated with trash collection in the city. So what I would like to do real quick is kind of go over the highlights of the modifications that we are requesting. As I mentioned, changing the cost of mattresses to 2 stickers. Number 2, capping mattress collection to 15 total in a year per address. There have been addresses in the city of Springfield where we've picked up over 35 mattresses. So there is no way that those mattresses are coming from that home. Discussion in the regulation about free items. A huge thing now in the city and everywhere is social media of people throwing things on their tree belt and saying, come get them. These items sit there for weeks, especially when you're talking about couches, mattresses, etc. Then we get a phone call saying, come pick it up as a bulk item, where a mattress or any item out there is basically filled with water over 3 weeks. So we're modifying that regulation. In the regulation, we are adding that mattresses and box springs have to be wrapped. We've been doing that, but it is not in, we wanted to add into the ordinance. Changing our collection start time from 6:30 to 6 o'clock a.m. Better defining revocation of trash service. Unfortunately, I've had to revoke a number of trash services. So what we've done is kind of put some rules and regulations into the ordinance regarding when and how we can do that. A lot of miscellaneous language changes in there in the documents that you are presented. Anything in red is a requested change. Also better defining drop-off rules and regulations at Bondi's Island with regard to yard waste and materials there. Fines. Within the document, there is a significant amount of locations where we can issue fines. However, in the previous ordinance, all of the fines were 0. So it was very difficult to fine somebody when you're fining them 0. So we are requesting that all fines within the ordinance go to $250. Better define how and when to use extra bag stickers. We do get a lot of requests for extra bag stickers, so we are just better defining on how that is going to work. A lot of information we've added in about radioactive material. This has been a huge issue lately in the city, and it's probably costing us $30,000 a year to dispose of hazardous radioactive material. And that is material that is coming out of trash that is either coming from an animal that is going through some sort of chemo treatment, and especially cats, kitty litter, etc., and or residents that live in the city that might be having treatment and in the end are having, are dealing with diapers or any sort of medical waste. Those things become a huge issue for us, so we wanted to put in regulations and information surrounding that. Clarified a little better about placement of barrels in the street relative to the property. We identified what trash ban items are currently with DEP. So we wanted to get that out to the residents as well in the item. And then a little bit better definition on the non-payment of trash fee. The DPW does not handle that. It is handled through the collector's office. However, we wanted to have in there a little bit more definition of what that means to a resident with regard to non-payment of trash fees. Within regard to the rules and regulations, the 2 documents had not necessarily conflicting data, but we went through the documents to make sure that the data in the 2 documents is the same. Better define the process for adding barrels if you request an additional barrel for trash or an additional barrel for recycling. How is that handled? How is it charged? When is it charged? et cetera. And also better defining, because we did not have a process in there for an appeals process if we were to revoke somebody's trash service. As an example, a property a few months ago, over the period of months, we've collected so much material through a bulk appointment that we ended up revoking the trash service from that location because the owner admitted that they were bringing it from outside of the city of Springfield. We do have it within the letter that they received that talks about an appeal process. However, it is not in the ordinance, so we wanted to make sure that they got in the ordinance on how that was going to work. So that's kind of a highlight of what we're looking at. Again, the only item that we are looking for an increase in cost is for 2 stickers for mattresses and box springs. In the city, prior to 2022, as I mentioned with the number, the cost for getting rid of a mattress basically was offset by the sticker. This year, we are expecting our line item in expenses to be about $220,000 for disposal of mattresses, and we'll probably collect about 50, I believe it's 54 or 56,000. So the regulations are causing a major issue with regard to our budget. And we are trying to figure out a way, especially on the mattress side, to stem what I'm thinking is the illegal import of materials from other places around Western Mass, simply because of the cost. I would love to make that cost better. However, at this point, I think step one would be to double the cost for those mattresses. And in going through the list that we looked at over the past year and a half, between our system and 311, the average homeowner who's getting rid of 1 or 2 mattresses is the standard. It's almost like there's no middle ground. After that, you're getting up to 15, 20, 30, 40 a year out of these mattresses, out of these locations. And virtually every one of those owners is a property management company. They are not individual residents. They are not individual citizens. They are property management companies that own multiple homes either in the city of Springfield or in other towns. And when we've revoked services for those locations, we've revoked them for all of the properties that they own. And in all cases, they call up and go, geez, you only charged us $90. Now I got to go pay $500 a year per property to contract with another company. One of the other items that I think I neglected to mention is that throughout the city, there are residents that have private collection services, so we just better define that a little bit of what they needed to do. We have found out in some of those locations, it's just some guy with a truck who's coming to pick them up. That's illegal in the state of Massachusetts, so we wanted to better define that a little bit to make sure that people are being collected legally in the way that they should be. Knowing that these are ordinance that are going through the council, I know that it's going to take a number of votes. So at this point, I would like to open it up to any questions that any councilors have with regard to these ordinance changes.
Thank you, Mr. Sinoli.
I see no hands, so we can go home?
Not so fast.
I tried.
Not so fast. Councilor Davila, then Councilor Santinella.
Thank you, Mr. President. Chris, I was kind of perusing through this, and let me tell you what I like about, there's a lot of things I like about these proposed changes. In particular, that if a resident opts out of the trash fee or the trash service here in the city of Springfield, that any new vendor that they may hire has to be vetted by the city and or the state. I think that's a great thing. I briefly tell you a quick incident that happened a while back in which a local business in my neighborhood, this guy showed up and said, hey, I can take your trash away for $60. And the guy did. He agreed to it. And so he paid the guy $60, and a guy from the street, did what he said he was going to do. He took the trash from that property, and he crossed the street and dropped it illegally in front of the other building. And so, yeah, exactly. So it actually made the news, Mr. President. So I do like that people are vetted so that we don't end up with illegal dumping throughout the city. But I do have some questions for you. Chris. One of them is, it talks here about $250 fine for bulk items. I believe that we passed here by my authorship a illegal dumping for bulk items, $500. Doesn't that put that ordinance in contradiction with this?
A little bit. Illegal dumping is basically taken care of by either the police ordinance squad or by code enforcement. The fines that are listed in here would primarily be issued by the DPW, and it would be on not necessarily illegal dumping, but items that are collection processes that are not done correctly, people putting things in the trash that they shouldn't put in the trash, bulk items that are modified, and I'm trying to get a good example of that. On the bulk side, I can't, nothing comes to my mind on it, but dealing with illegal materials in trash, illegal dumping handled by police and ordinance, I believe their fine is $500.
Correct.
Maybe wrong on that. Yeah, I think it's $500. So I'm just looking at the individual trash that we are looking at. One of the problems that we have gotten into is we do have a requirement of DEP, we have to have an inspector. So we have people who go around, a person that goes around inspects the trash. So when he looks in somebody's barrel and looks in their recycling and they have yard waste in there, right now they get, we usually issue warnings, 2 or 3 warnings, but since I didn't have a fine in there, we couldn't issue fines. And a lot of the language that we have in there also, Counselor, is in regard to coming back for trash. What happens now is people put illegal things in the trash. We don't collect the trash. They call 311 and the resident says, all right, I'll take the stuff out, and they want us to come back out in 15 minutes. Well, in a lot of cases, that's not going to happen. But back to your original question, we're really looking at the materials that they are trying to get the DPW to collect versus illegal dumping that happens around the city.
Okay. Although I will argue to you, I'm sure that this is going to go to most likely to my committee for more vetting. And I will argue to you, Chris, that if somebody puts our refrigerator out there and says free, and a couple of days goes by, I will argue to you that that's illegal dumping, right? So that's something that I would love to continue to have a conversation with you and to the powers to be on that aspect. Another thing is, and maybe I read this wrong, Chris, I need some clarity. I believe page 297, section I could be reading this wrong. Am I to understand that if a resident is late with any trash-related fee or any city-related fee, that the trash fee may be revoked?
Did you say 297?
I believe that's what I read it. I know I read it somewhere here. I just can't seem to find it. I believe the exact language was any current related city payments. I have to go through it literally like with a fine microscope.
In here, it should, I'm just thinking about trash fee. Any other city services, I don't have any authority over, so if somebody hasn't paid their excise tax, there's not much I can do about that. I'm just worried about trash fee, so if there's an item in there on that, it shouldn't be worded that way.
Okay, I will go through it through a fine comb.
Yep, no problem.
I know, I believe I read it somewhere. And my last question, so I can let my esteemed colleagues ask their question, the appeal process. And I believe here in the appeal process, Chris, you have somebody from DPW, that makes tons of sense to me. 311 director, law department, assessors. Can you give me the rhyme and reason why these people are on this board?
Yeah, what we created a solid waste committee probably 25 years ago in the city. So what we did is we put together people from various departments who are involved with solid waste in the city, who have a voice in putting various regulation, rules, appeals together, rather than just somebody like myself saying, hey, I think we should increase the trash fee to $300. We wanted to make sure that we had a committee and representation on that to make sure that we had enough voices around the city to kind of vet what we are doing and see the impact, and also at the same time be able to discuss with other departments, hey, are you looking at doing a fee increase on something, you know, how is it going to be received, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. I cannot get to a degree why the composition of this appeal process, but as I sit here talking to you right now, Chris, I just got this funny feeling that maybe, perhaps, and we can talk about this later, that we should have resident or somebody else, the common Joe out there, to sit here on this board and give their input, because this is a critical service, you know it. And so I just want to make sure that fairness is throughout. I know you're always fair, Chris, but this is not about you. This is about the process. And so, well, I do look forward to go through this with fine comb, Chris. But so far, what I read, I like it. It's necessary because we all know that trash has been on the increase, including illegal dumping here in the city. But I look forward to continue to get this through the committee, the first step. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Councilor Santinella.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just to follow up what he just said, how much illegal dumping do we have with the mattresses in the city right now? And is it increasing, like he mentioned?
I'm going to say, I don't know, because I'm not the one who ends up collecting them. They end up getting collected by Clean Cities. They probably do 1,000 a year throughout the city. It increased slightly when the rule went into in November of 22, but it's been, from what I understand from Tommy McCarthy, it's been relatively steady from a mattress standpoint. Dumping a mattress is kind of difficult. It happens, but it's kind of difficult simply because of the size.
Yep.
But illegal, we end up picking up a lot of, you know, a TV on the side of the road more than, you know, a series of mattresses. Yeah. Where we've seen what I call illegal that we end up having to deal with are a lot of homes around the city that are owned by management companies that are being renovated. We have a couple on Upper Belmont Avenue at this point where they go to clean out a house and they just leave 20 of them on the tree belt that sit there forever and ever. So from an overall legal standpoint, I know in my conversations with Tom, because he has to now dispose of them, I believe he's paying $100 a piece to dispose of them. We're paying total with everything involved probably about $28, $29 a mattress to get rid of it now after all expenses. Yeah. But he's paying either $75 or $100 because what he's getting rid of are things that are dumped without plastic, that are molded, mildewed, that have to be put into the trash. An exception has to be made, and the vendors, certain vendors will only accept them.
You mentioned at the beginning of your presentation about radioactive material being illegally dumped. How do you know it's radioactive?
When we dump material, before when it was at the incinerator and now when we dump it at the transfer station, the material there is scanned for a number of different items. Radioactive material is one of the first items that they scan for, and a determination is made. They got Geiger counters and everything on there, and as I said, we probably get a half dozen or so of those a year, and end up costing us anywhere between $3,000 and $6,000 to deal with. The material, number one, the truck that it was in has to be isolated until the level of radioactivity in that truck is down to a point. So I could lose a truck for 4, 5, 6 days. The material is then segregated. It then has to be hauled to a different location and then dealt with radioactively. And I believe it's got to be sat on for 90 days, 60 days or 90 days. I can't remember the two. And one of the issues that we were having is trying to get in touch with doctors to let patients know, both animals and humans, of what they can and can't do with their hazardous waste that they have. Because certain things just, you know, especially when you're dealing with radiation treatment for pets and for humans, that stuff is coming out both in trash and in sewage as well. So that's a problem.
That
Nothing
was-
I have to deal with, but
That was my next question. How do we monitor the sewage?
that is also monitored on a daily basis through Springfield Water and Sewer. And obviously theirs gets diluted, but it is monitored as well. If you have, one of the items that we found out is if we get a particular load, we then know what neighborhood it came in. We then, at the next time go around, that radioactive signature is still going to be in the barrel, so we then end up going around with Geiger counters, and it usually takes us 1 or 2 collection weeks to find out who the offender was. We provide them with information. I have some information in there about possible fines. My intent would be is that I wouldn't be fining these people unless they were repeat offenders.
Yeah.
Because, some people, most of the people that we're dealing with on these things are elderly, and the last thing that I want to do is fine them on something that they're not aware of. However, like anything else, if you've done it for the 3rd time, I think you should understand what's going on.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Santinello. Councilor Delgado?
Thank you, Mr. President. Chris, you kind of answered some of my question, and looking at, that was going to be my thing about the radioactive waste. I think I didn't hear the radiation treatment part of it. So thank you for clarifying that. I guess my question is, though, for those folks on, like, what, I saw there was a communication plan very down low, but for those folks not aware, like, that's gonna be a tough one to get out there, so.
Well, and when we're probably on an ordinance like this, when we are done, we may end up having to do individual flyer handouts, as we've done in years past when there's been a major change, basically placed on every barrel. So one of the things that we may end up having to do, again, the only item from a cost standpoint is the stickers. I'm probably looking at December 1st enacting that. For the simple reason is I want to get out ahead of where people have appointments already.
Yeah, no, I get the
but what I want to
piece,
do is that at that point, be able to get that out publicly, number one, through our normal means that we do it, but we probably also end up needing to do handouts individually.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I guess I was still kind of more on the, definitely appreciate on the sticker piece and kind of, I guess the radioactive waste one was the one that just stuck with me. How many of those are you seeing, I guess, a year or a month?
Probably 3 to 6 a year.
Okay, so
that
it's
we
not
have.
that many. Okay.
Yeah.
So that
and the problem is on some of them, by the time we figure out who it is, they've probably done it 2 or 3 times because they're going through treatments.
Yeah.
So we then end up getting to them, and the important part is we give them the information, and so that they can give it to their doctor as well, to be able to, because most doctors around here, any sort of material that you have, doctors and or the hospitals will accept it. And I just want to make sure that those residents understand that.
Perfect. And then just thank you for the work on the mattresses side, just to, even just looking at what other communities are doing and seeing that big increase and you trying to get ahead of that. I think it's, kudos to you and your team. And then just a small question on the yard waste piece. I know a lot of folks have like the yard waste, they put them in kind of the paper bags and the rain and all that. What kind of program do we have, and excuse me for my ignorance of not knowing, do we have anything in terms of folks when we're talking about like composting or any programs like that to encourage that?
We have all of our yard waste that goes to Bondi's Island. A major percentage of the material that is brought to Bondi's with regard to yard waste is used for cover material at the landfill. Every year, I'm going to say 1,000 tons, which is probably 100 plus truckloads of compost we provide to the public for free.
I know about that.
Through, we basically place it at Blunt Park in the spring of every year. I think we would do better if we decided to hand out bars of gold, because they're basically waiting there for us when the trucks show up. So we try to put out as much as we can for the residents to use. And our vendor, Covanto, over at the landfill, under their contract, has to process I believe it's a minimum of 600 tons every year for composting for the city of Springfield.
Got it. You know, I know that's a popular one because I know my dad tells me right away when you guys put that out there. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Councilor Delgado. Councilor Allen.
Second the motion.
Okay, motion to committee made by Councilor Allen, seconded by Councilor Edwards. Is there any discussion on the motion? I know that Councilors Walsh, Perez, and Brown had their hands up previously, as did Councilor Govan. In light of the motion to committee, would councilors would still like to be heard?
Yes.
Okay, Councilor Brown, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I agree with my colleague based on the information. I think that I commend the city and the work that they've done, but I think it's something that me and my colleagues, we should sit down and discuss. So I definitely would want it. I was raising my hand to send it to committee. I don't know which committee you might send it to. I mean, I would want it in mine or joint or whoever, but I do recommend that we do send this to committee. It's an opportunity for us to do it the right way, and I definitely commend the city and Chris and everyone for doing it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. This would, it's a public utility and public works department, so this would go to maintenance and development subcommittee. Okay. Councilor Walsh, would you still like to be heard?
Yes, I just had a quick question. I wanted a clarification about items left on the tree belt. Were you only referring to mattresses?
I'm basically referring to everything. One of the big problems that we are having now, as I mentioned, with all the social media out there, for example, there's a group in Springfield, I think it's called Free Springfield, where you put items on your tree belt and you post it and people come and get them. And what happens is they'll sit for 2 or 3 weeks, whatever it is, then it will become a bulk item. And we'll pick it up. And I'm not talking about the cost, but it's just you're picking up a couch that has now been sitting outside for 3 weeks. Or you're picking up possibly a mattress that's been out there, or something that's been out there for a long period of time that is now mold infested, and possibly animals, maggots, that sort of thing is what we're running into with those items that are sitting out on tree belts for a long period of time, because people will think somebody will come and get them for nothing and they don't have to pay for an $8 sticker for the individual items. So that's been an issue in neighborhoods that I know that has come up with the code enforcement and ordinance from police as well.
I don't know how restrictive that should be, because I know a lot of people that think that stuff on the tree belt are treasures, and they like it. So I'd have to hear more about that.
Oh, yeah, and I have no issue with that if it's, you know, I can't remember what I had in there for hours, but I think I might have said 48 hours. But like I said, some stuff is sitting out there for weeks, and I always keep an eye on a particular house, and then I notice the bulk request for it, and I drive by that couch every day, and I realize that is going to be a 500-pound couch when somebody tries to go pick it up.
Thank you, Councilor Walsh. Councilor Perez.
Mr. President, I just was raising my hand so this could be sent to committee. I think I have a lot of questions, and my biggest concern is when it comes to the elders and the increase, so we could discuss that in committee. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilor Perez. Councilor Govan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I did want to mention, I still get inquiries from constituents about the trash fee. It doesn't look like we're getting rid of it today, but that's something that they constantly ask me about, especially in light of the increased property taxes that they're paying. And, you know, our property taxes should be paying for our trash, for police, for fire. So that's just something I want us to keep in mind and I guess maybe start thinking about. Then also the compost, I think some professional people come and get the compost sometimes. And I don't know if there's a way for us to prevent that from happening or to lessen it. But thank you. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Govan. Councilor Whitfield.
Thank you. I make a motion to send this item to the Maintenance and Development Committee.
Thank you. That motion has already been made by Councilor Allen and seconded by Councilor Edwards. That motion is on the floor.
Oh, it's on the floor. I don't have anything to say right now, so I'll wait till the subcommittee meeting.
Okay. Thank you, Councilor Whitfield. Councilor Davila.
Thank you, Mr. President. Chris, and again, we're going to talk about this in committee. Now that I'm thinking about it, specifically talking about the mattresses, which you spent a chunk of time talking. So I know by no means that I'm advocating of this, but I think it's a responsible question to ask. We pay $8 per bulk item, and that includes the mattress, correct?
Yes.
So correct me if I'm mistaken, but I believe I heard you say in the past that specifically when it comes to mattress, we are actually losing money, correct?
Right now, we are losing money. In the past, it was a regular bulk item, so it was brought with chairs, couches, everything else to the vendor, and we paid by the ton. Now we are required to pay individually, so we pay $26 to $28 a mattress to get rid of it.
Is that 26, 28 plus the 8 or minus the 8?
No, that's total. So we're paying like $20 out of our own pocket, out of our own budget per item, and when we're doing 7,500 of them, that's $150,000.
Right. How much?
$150,000.
$150,000.
Yep.
So, by no means that I'm advocating of this, but why are we only charging $8 if we're losing money?
Excuse me?
Why are we only charging $8 if we're actually losing money with $8?
Well, number one is the main reason why I want to increase it to 16. I also think that if we raise it, that it's going to stem the tide of the material that's coming from outside the city a little bit. And if it doesn't, maybe we raise it again. But if I get down to 4,000, it will significantly reduce the burden on the rest of the residents in the city.
Right.
So that's my whole goal.
No, I hear you, but I'm just doing some faulty thinking here. I'm thinking that I get it, you want to increase it to $16. We still pay, I believe you said 26, 28, so we're still losing money for the city side. And perhaps we should look of increasing the fine for specifically the mattresses. Because I believe you said a little while ago that people are coming out of the city and still cheaper to dump it for $16 or dump at somebody's house for them to pick up through a bulk item, as opposed to paying whatever it is they're paying, $50, $65 in the community. So anyways, I'm just putting that out there because I think at the end of the day, we're still gonna lose money and we can't lose any more money than we're already losing. So that did catch my attention, Chris, and I would love to chit-chat more about it in committee. I don't want to hold it up now, but we just can't lose money anymore. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Any other councilors on the motion to committee? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on referral of the matter to committee to be sent to the Maintenance and Development Committee.
On sending item number 42 to committee, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Delgado.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Click-Bruce.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran.
Yeah.
Yes, Councilor Santinello.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes, more than sufficient. Matters referred to the Maintenance and Development Committee, chaired by Councilor Brown. Item number 43, Madam Clerk.
Item 43 is an amendment to the City of Springfield's trash rules and regulations.
Is there a motion on this matter?
Make a motion this also be included and sent to committee. same committee as the previous item.
Okay, motion made by Counselor Edwards, seconded by Counselor Santinello. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the motion to refer this matter to the Maintenance and Development Committee.
On referring item 43 to Maintenance and Development, Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Click Bruce?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Santinello?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes, more than sufficient. Matters referred to Maintenance and Development Committee. Item number 44, Madam Clerk.
Last item on the agenda is amendment to Article 5 of Chapter 385 of the Ordinance of the City of Springfield.
Counselor Davila. Thank you. Well, one second before we make a motion. Madam Clerk, did we take first step on this at the last meeting?
We did.
We did. Okay, so that's a motion to committee. Okay, motion to committee made by Counselor Davila, seconded by Counselor Edwards. This matter will go to the General Government Committee. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the referral to committee.
On referral to General Government, Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Delgado? Yes, Counselor Click Bruce?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Santinello?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Perez?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes, more than sufficient. Matter will be referred to the General Government Committee, chaired by Counselor Davila. Madam Clerk, any more business?
No.
Okay, this body will stand adjourned. Councilors, our next meeting is on a Tuesday. Please note it's Tuesday, September 24th. We're not meeting on September 23rd because that is Springfield Day at the Big E. See you all on the 24th. Good night.